IGAD observers team acclaims 7th Ethiopian general elections. The election observation mission to Ethiopia of Eastern Africa Security and Trading Bloc, Igaad, has described the conduct of Ethiopia's 7th Parliamentary and Regional Council elections as an exceptional logistical feat that sets a benchmark for Africa and as peaceful, orderly, and coordinated. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, Election Observation Mission, EOM, has described the elections as a significant milestone in the country's democratic and electoral evolution, highlighting notable institutional and technological progress. Speaking at a joint press briefing in Addis Ababa on Wednesday, IGAD EOM head Dr. Wander Speciosa Kazibwe said the election stood out as an election of many firsts, reflecting major reforms introduced by the National Election Board of Ethiopia, NEB, to enhance efficiency, inclusivity, and transparency. The mission, deployed at the invitation of the government of Ethiopia and the National Election Board of Ethiopia, consisted of 26 short-term observers who monitored polling activities across selected regions. According to the report, voter education was strengthened through the involvement of 169 civil society organizations, while free and transparent media airtime allocation ensured broader political communication. The mission further commended the presence of party agents, domestic observers, and coordinated election security arrangements that contributed to public confidence. Dr. Kazibwe noted that voter turnout was high across observed polling stations, with women, youth, and elderly citizens actively participating throughout the day. She also commended the peaceful conduct of voters, many of whom waited long hours to exercise their democratic rights. While acknowledging security-related constraints that prevented it a few places, IGAD emphasized that Ethiopia is simultaneously pursuing broader national reforms, including dialogue and peace-building initiatives aimed at strengthening long-term stability. The mission concluded that Ethiopia's 2026 election reflects important democratic consolidation efforts, driven by legal reforms, technological modernization, and inclusive electoral practices. IGAD reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Ethiopia's democratic development and regional governance stability. According to the report, in spite of some security challenges, voting was successfully conducted in one of the 557 constituencies as initially scheduled. A total of 52,044 polling stations were operational for regional and city administration council elections, reflecting what IGAD described as a high level of organizational capacity. The observation mission particularly praised NEB for its effective planning and execution under complex conditions. It highlighted the deployment of modern electoral systems, including Geographic Information System, GIS, based polling station mapping, a hybrid voter registration mechanism, and tailored voting arrangements for internally displaced persons, IDPs, and members of the National Defense Forces. IGAD noted that these innovations contributed to making the electoral process more accessible, inclusive, and efficient, marking an important step toward electoral modernization in Ethiopia. The report also emphasized voter education efforts, noting that 169 organizations were accredited to conduct civic and voter awareness campaigns, with around 114 receiving financial support to enhance outreach. Despite the challenges encountered, the mission concluded that the election represented a meaningful milestone in strengthening democratic processes and regional cooperation, underscoring Ethiopia's ongoing efforts to improve electoral transparency and institutional capacity. The June 1st Ethiopian election saw tens of millions of voters casting their ballots in the great majority of constituencies in the country. Voting was conducted at 52,000 polling stations where 359,000 election officials were deployed. The number of voters registered stood at more than 54 million for the elections, in which 10,438 political parties and 80 independents vie for seats in the House of People's Representatives or the regional councils. The African Union deployed 59 election observers led by former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, while IGAD, the 8-nation Eastern Africa Security and Trading Bloc, assigned 26 observers. 12 international media outlets have covered the polls. In addition, civil society organizations and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission deployed thousands of observers across the country and monitored the voting processes. The CITSOs and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission said the elections in Ethiopia were conducted in an orderly, democratic, participatory fashion and meeting international standards.